Okay, so you may ask, what if two people want to be working on code at the same time? And it doesn't have to necessarily be the same line of code in the same place. Like it could be two different functionalities for this piece of code you're working on, or this project you're working on. For instance, if you're making like a robot that you want to like make as human-like as possible, right? You want one person to program the like it to play a game, so you can program this robot to play tic-tac-toe or something, and then another person can program the robot to lay around and watch YouTube videos or something like that. So and those aren't like really necessarily probably overlapping functionality or functions that these people are going to be writing. So it'd be great if they could both work on it at the same time. So that's what I'm going to explain here. So here we kind of have the progression of the code base overall. So V1, version 1, version 2, version 3, and these are just like improvements. So like maybe by version 3 we'd have functionality for this robot to play a game and this robot to watch YouTube videos or something. V1 might have it might just like sit there. So the way you do this is with what's called a branch. So this is you have what's called the master branch, and that's just like the most up-to-date functional. Everything on your master you want to be like functional at work code. But when you want to work on something, what you do is you create a branch, right? So you take the master code at this point and you make a copy of it into your branch. You can name your branch whatever you want, and you work on additional features, right? And then when you've added the features, the files, whatever you want to that, and you're ready to push it back to master, the complete, production ready code, you create what's called a pull request to pull your branch back to the main code and integrate it together. So let's see how that's done in GitHub Desktop, right? So we're back in test repository, and so this is what repository I'm in. This is what branch I'm in. First thing I always want to do is fetch the origin. This is if any of my friends or teammates have edited the code, they've made a great improvement or something, I want to know about it. So I'm going to fetch the origin. So that says, oh, look for changes on up on github.com. And if there are any changes, I want to pull those to my local machine, because I want to what's called like split my branch off. So I want to split my branch off with up-to-date code. So what we'll do is, so fetched it, there's nothing new. So we'll create a new branch, and I'll name this GD's branch. You would name it like on functionality. You can name it by just your name if you're just messing around. So great, let's publish this branch. So everything I do on this GitHub desktop here is only on my computer. So I gotta say, okay, now we gotta publish the branch to the cloud. Okay, great. So that means that in my folder that we created last time called test repository, whatever changes I make, so let's just like add a new document. This will only show up in JD's branch. I don't know if you can name a file that. Okay, apparently you can. Great. So you know the drill. We did something. We made a change to our code, and let's open this actually and say, hello, JD is cool, right? Save. Really making some progress here today on my thing. So notice that when I go down to commit my changes, it commits it to a branch. So did stuff, right? Commit. Now I'm going to push my commits back to the cloud. But notice that I'm still on JD's branch. So when I go to github.com in test repository, right? Notice that there's only this file hi that we added last time when we were editing master. But if I look in the branch, JD's branch, oh great, here's this file I just made. So I have my own little like sandbox to play around. If JD's branch, if stuff hits the fan and you know, my code is just terrible, I can just delete the branch, right? And then master's still there. So that's great. But say, you know, say my code, my changes were really something that, you know, was worthwhile and a valuable addition to what the what you know what our thing does. So what we want to do is create a pull request. This says, hey, all the code in JD's branch, I want it to be part of master now. So I'm going to create a pull request that'll take me to this link here. And this will update with like some of the names you did. So finished JD's branch. And you might want to type about exactly what JD's branch does, things there. So notice here, I'm taking JD's branch and I'm putting it into master. It'll say able to merge. You know, if other people have made changes to master while you've been working on your branch, that could cause issues, but that's all pretty fixable, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I created a pull request. If you're feeling good, you can merge it right away, or you can request someone else to look at it, which is kind of nice. So let's just say, okay, yeah, we're gonna merge it. Great. So it's done. So now we're gonna go back to code. And notice in master, this file that I put to JD's branch is now in master. And, well, JD's branch still does exist. But basically what we did just then is we created a branch called JD's branch. We added some new files to it. We committed those files to JD's branch. And then we said, okay, we want JD's branch to go back to master, right? And that's kind of how we would create a V2. And what's great about this is you can have multiple branches. So, you know, if one function of a robot is play tic-tac-toe, right? We can be working on code that makes the robot play tic-tac-toe. And if we want to program it to watch YouTube, we can program it there. And the great thing is, like, you know, these two processes are going to happen in different locations in the code. So when you merge them back together, they won't overlap, ideally. There's ways to figure that out once you get to that point. But yeah, last thing is, you know, when you're ready, you're happy with what you got a pull request. So things to keep in mind is master. Master, you can edit it directly in GitHub, but it's probably best to make your own branch, do your changes, and then push them back up to master. And remember, so there's kind of two big things to take away from GitHub, is that you have GitHub, which is called .com, which is kind of the origin, the cloud, and you have files on your machine. So you pull it to your machine, you make those changes, and then you push your updates back. And origin can represent master, or it can represent your own branch. Either way, what you should always do is you should always pull the current code unless someone updated master or your branch, make your changes, and push them back to your branch or push them back to master. And then the great thing is when you're done with your branch, or your team is finished working on that branch, you pull, it's kind of confusing, I guess. There's a difference between a pull request, pulling your branch back to master, and what's called pull origin. Or I guess in GitHub here, you click fetch origin. So that's probably a better word to use, fetch. And then when you're done making changes, you push it back. So that's it. Yeah,